Namaste everybody. Welcome to Chitti Media. My name is Sharan Sethi, your host. Today we are joined by somebody very senior. He's been an academic, a scholar, a journalist, and right now he is the editor of Organizer Weekly magazine, Prafulla Ketkar ji. Prafulla ji, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Sharanji, and namaste to all the viewers. I'm really glad to join the Chitti platform. Hope to have a very meaningful conversation.
Absolutely, Prafulla ji. Even I look forward to it. I have been personally inspired by a lot that you have to say. So I'm eagerly looking forward to our conversation. And on that note, if I may straight away go into introduction of our topic, it's been over 100 years, and yet our historians, our scholars, our gatekeepers of academics have conveniently forgotten what has happened to Hindus in the Moplah riots of 1921. Now, even if we were to go by some of the history that's written by people who are, say, is not widely accepted, Annie Besant's letters and the subsequent reports by the Servant Society of India says that there have been at least 1,500 murders. At least 20,000 people have been converted into Islam, forcibly converted, and thousands of people have been displaced. Their properties have been looted, their women have been raped. Now, the most unpleasant thing about India, Prafulaji, and India's history is that even after a century or so, we have conveniently forgotten this, whether it's the Moplah riots, whether it's the Noakhali riots, or even the post-poll violence where we have deniers. Why is this happening, and why is it important for our children and our future generation to remember what had happened in Moplah?
See, Sharanji, we need to understand what has been happening, especially 1916 onwards in India's intellectual discourse. I will primarily keep my focus on Moplah riots, but unless we understand the larger context, we will not understand why Moplah riots were whitewashed. 1498, Vasco da Gama arrived in Calicut, the same Kerala state where Moplah riots took place, present day Kerala state. Of course, Calicut and Kochi were, and along with Travancore, were different small kingdoms that time. But since then, the politics of Semitism or Semitic religion-based, war that was happening in Europe was brought to the Indian soil. Indian soil that was known for acceptance and respect for all ways of worships, and everybody, and even in Kerala, Christianity was existed in the form of Syrian Christians, or even Muslims were there, and there used to be a trade with the Gulf region. Even then, spices of Malabar region were famous worldwide. Yeah, and so all the people of all ways of worships were living together. But this idea of fatwas and crusades and the jihadi type mindset that was not of Indian origin, and that has never succeeded on Indian soil. Unfortunately, after Portuguese relegated to Goa and Vasco da Gama, which was subdued to some extent, was revived after Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan invaded the Malabar region. Then also, a lot of destruction took place, and many people were killed, temples were destroyed, and there are evidences to show this. I will not get into those aspects. 1836 onwards, there were attempts in Malabar region to spread this sentiment of pan-Islamism, but still they didn't get much traction. What happened in 1905 was remarkable. Bengal was divided on the religious lines by the British. And first time, the land of India was divided in the name of identity of the people. Till then, there were various kingdoms, small, models of governance. So the kings used to change, but the idea of India in terms of emotional geocultural identity from Himalayas to Indian Ocean remained the same. So the Rashtra remained the same. The state or the boundaries of governance might change. The laws of collecting taxes and the laws for ruling the governed, that might change to some extent. But this idea of India was never challenged. So land was not divided on the lines of people. Land was divided on the lines of kings, and it was only for the matter of governance. Here, first time British experimented this, and they did not succeed in continuing with that partition that time because we fought it tooth and nail. And by 1911, they had to reverse that decision. The partition of Bengal was nullified within 6 years. Entire India fought against it. And what we saw a remarkable character of India, where British had to shift their capital from Calcutta to Delhi. So they were terrified by the revolutionary movements and the kind of resistance that we did against the colonial rule. Unfortunately, after that, they started selling that you are two different nationalities, and unless you resolve this issue or you come together, Hindus and Muslims, we can't think of autonomy or what they call as that time home rule, or giving some kind of self determination or representation to you. Now this was a very dangerous proposition, because from ancient times we have been some form of governing model. We had our own knowledge systems which were destroyed by the colonial rulers. We had our own ways of managing conflicts. Somebody from outside coming and dictating this was a very dangerous ploy. 1916 post Lucknow conference, this became a sort of main agenda, and Khilafat was a major turning point. Till then, within the Congress, there was a debate, and people like Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal, they were opposing this move of taking this as the main agenda. Unfortunately, by 2020, this became the main agenda. This became a rallying point within the Congress, that unless Hindus and Muslims are together, so taking Muslims along became the main point of entire political or mobilizational exercise. Now, within the Muslim community, from 1914 onwards, there was a traction for some kind of pan-Islamism. Now, I will give you only one experience, one example of this. As I said, there were attempts earlier, but they were not successful. Indian Muslims did not have any idea about pan-Islamism or their connect with Khalifa. The Muslim Caliphate was never there, barring few leaders or mullahs or ulemas. there was no traction for this concept, because common Indian Muslims who were largely rooted in the Indian ethos did not have a direct exposure to this idea of pan-Islamism. Malabar region was exception to this. Malabar region always had this West Asia connect.
Right.
They had this, connectivity with West Asian Gulf region, what we call today. And because of that, this idea of brotherhood in the name of religion, what Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar later called, was always there.
Yes.
So the 1914, there was one important initiative that was taken from Turkey to connect Turkey with Mecca through a rail line. And as per the Islamic norms, this is a duty of a Khalifa to facilitate the commuting or the travel towards the land of Mecca and Medina.
Right.
Now, can you imagine in 1914, there was a mobilization to collect funds in India for this rail line. And people contributed to this. And there was a huge sum that was donated to this rail line, which Indian Muslims were never going to use, because it was not connecting India to Mecca or Medina. It was Europe was connecting to Mecca and Medina.
Yes.
But because Khalifa has given the call, there was a and this had a subtle traction, and therefore this idea of ulema conference and Khilafat got traction, and people, many fundamentalists within Muslim community, and there was one thought that was persisted, which is still there today. And that's why we should remember what happened in Moplah and what happened during Khilafat.
Yes.
That the British took reins from the Delhi Sultanate or Mughals or Muslims or whatever, means slash. But by and large, the Muslim kingdoms, and that's why whenever British are leaving India, they should hand it over to the Muslims.
Right.
And that idea somehow struck a chord, and many leaders within Congress had this fear that this will create a totally different kind of or nurture different kind of idea within Indian Muslims. So irrespective of religious identity, we should give them a call to join the freedom movement. Unfortunately, Khilafat became the main point. If you go through the Khilafat documents, it clearly states that the main idea behind Khilafat, they were opposing British rule, not for the freedom of India, but mainly for restoration of the idea of caliphate that was destroyed after the First World War in 1918, and especially the 1919 treaty, when this position of caliphate was destroyed. Even present-day Saudi Arabia or Makkah or Medina didn't support this idea, but Indian Muslims supported this, and that is why it is important, because this idea actually germinated into idea of Pakistan.
Right.
That led to the final partition, the actual partition that British successfully executed. And unfortunately, we didn't resist that partition, and that's why we remember we should not repeat our mistakes. And that is why the present generation should understand what happened during that period and what happened in the name of caliphate in Malabar region also, which are popularly sold either as a freedom fighters by the Congress in the post-independent period, or by the communists as the peasants' uprising. Both these things are absolutely wrong. If at all, if Moplah riots was anything, it was for restoration of Islamic Caliphate.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.